And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. We are talking about some major injury updates for the Washington Commanders, as it looks like their Pro Bowl defensive tackle, Jonathan Allen, is going to be out for the season with a torn pectoral muscle there and needs surgery. So that is tough for the Washington Commanders. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens 30-23, but to lose their 8-year NFL veteran, it's tough because Jonathan Allen has really been, I think, the heart and soul of the Washington Commanders up front. And the fact that we are now starting to play some winning football and then he goes down like this is tough here. And he's played in at least 15 games of each of his last 6 seasons, made the Pro Bowl after 2021 and 2022 season. So that's going to be tough. I mean, because he is having a pretty good year. And I think that this defense is really starting to take off now. And, I think that one of the things that happened to the Washington Commanders in this game is that, once Dorrance Armstrong went down, you saw that there were some huge runs for Derrick Henry and this Ravens offense. This is something that was highlighted on Locked On Commanders, talking about, when we had that injury to Dorrance Armstrong and then, of course, Jonathan Allen goes down, you started to see some big plays in the running game. And so, I think for the defense and really the long-term outlook on this is going to be challenging because, the secondary is one of the more challenging points for the Washington Commanders, no doubt about it. And I talked about the fact that you need to be able to create natural pressures up front. I think that is something that you get from the Ravens. I think that they have a very good front four that are able to go ahead and generate some natural pressure without you having to call these blitzes and things like that. And so, I think that the Commanders are really starting to find their way that way. And that just certainly helps our secondary because now, when you're able to cause pressure up front without causing these or calling these blitzes and things like that, generally that is going to speed up that quarterback's clock and that is going to get them to throw into some mistakes. And so, with a player like Jonathan Allen down and who knows what's going on with Dorrance Armstrong, that is certainly going to hurt us in the secondary. And so as we move forward and we look at some of the key takeaways from the Washington Commanders loss versus the Ravens, staying with that secondary, I want to give Mike Sainristil a whole bunch of credit. I think that he has been phenomenal really in the last couple weeks. I loved his physicality against the Cleveland Browns, and I have got to give it to him. I mean, he has got the first and only interception for this Washington secondary, and every week he looks like he's just getting more comfortable on the defensive end, back there in the secondary. And, that is one of the things that our defensive coordinator talked about is looking for that leader back there in the secondary. And it might be Mike Sainristil coming in as a rookie. He had 6 tackles. He had 4 of those were total. And then he also had the one pass deflection, couldn't get that out, and the interception as well. So, again, just seeing the activity with this young man on the defensive end was huge for us in the secondary. So I know that we took the loss, and I know that we gave up a ton of yards to Zay Flowers. In fact, Zay Flowers had 132 yards on the day. I think he had 100 in the first half, but that was the bright spot, I think, out of the secondary play and what we got from Mike Sainristil. So next up, I think another key takeaway from this Baltimore Ravens loss that we took here on Sunday is just that I loved the response that we got from Jaden Daniels. I think that once again, even in a losing effort going back to the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I thought that the composure has been there. I didn't really see that he was just uncomposed in game one, and it didn't look like he was really uncomposed here in game two, trailing like that. I think that, if you were out on the field, if you had Jaden Daniels as the leader of your franchise, of your team, you definitely felt like you had a chance to win this ball game. And look, 24 of 35, 269 on the day. We talked about the fact that he was leading the NFL in completions. He had a completion rate which was pretty solid in this one. And on top of that, I love the fact that, he also led us running the football as well. I mean, 6 carries for 22 yards. I know it wasn't huge, But, once again, I mean, this shows you that Daniels just finds ways to get it done. And I think that as this football team gets better, it's the quarterback play like that is going to push you to the top. Reminds me of what you see with Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. They just find a way to just dig something out of nothing. And I think that Jaden Daniels certainly is going to become that player. Next up, another key takeaway in this particular game was that we have got to stay with our identity, which is running the football. I know that it was going to be tough with what the Baltimore Ravens presented on the defensive end, only giving up 2.9 yards per carry. But this was the one game that I saw where they actually just they took away the running game from us. Really, we didn't get any major big plays out of that. And I think that the Washington Commanders probably should have kept going to it, even though they had about 17 carries in there between three different players. I think you still continue to keep leaning on that and continue to keep trying to, push on that defense. But I think that that is one of the things that the Washington Commanders have got to be conscious of is staying with kind of what got them to the party, and it is being physical up front. And one of the things that the Washington Commanders can look at is say, well, we didn't have Brian Robinson Jr. Who knows what would have happened there if that would have helped us a little bit more. But you have to give credit to the Baltimore Ravens defense for going ahead and making it tough for the Washington Commanders to open up holes for their running backs and their quarterbacks as well. And so, lastly, just looking at what we were able to do, from the wide receiving room, I think once again you see it with Terry McLaurin. I think that the rapport with Jaden Daniels is getting better each and every week. I think that Terry McLaurin is set to have a very good season, and I think as he continues to get comfortable with Jaden Daniels, they are going to make a ton of plays. They had some big throw and catches in this particular game, but I'm looking for that next player that is going to step up. I think once again, Noah Brown coming back off the groin injury had a pretty strong game. Zacchaeus had a catch that would have given him some more yardage in this thing and kept him in that consideration. He did have a drop here, but still 4 for 27 yards. You're starting to see that experience carry over from where he was with Atlanta and also to the Eagles as well. So I think that there is still some room in this wide receiving room to see who is going to step up and go with Terry McLaurin right now. Big one from Zach Ertz. I think that Zach Ertz did a terrific job as far as getting to the middle of the field. Something that I think the Commanders absolutely could have taken a little bit more advantage of is the middle of the field, which is something that has been talked about, as far as going against this Ravens defense. And so, I think that those were some of the key takeaways here. And I like the fact that even though we lost, there's so many good things to take away from this. And I know, it's tough to take something from a loss, but I do like the way the Washington Commanders competed. They were right there till the end. And who knows if they would have been able to perhaps get the football back and give Jaden Daniels just one more time or one more try, to win the game. Who knows what would have happened there? But a tough one here. We get ready for week 7 versus the Carolina Panthers, who just took a bad beat against the Atlanta Falcons. Then we have the Chicago Bears and then the New York Giants in week 9. So we'll be talking a little bit more about the Carolina Panthers. Tough one once again for the Washington Commanders. Not only do they lose to the Ravens, but we have a major injury update with our Pro Bowl defensive tackle, Jonathan Allen, out. Let me know in the comments what you are thinking. This is Washington Commanders Insider. And even after a loss, we're still talking positive about our Washington Commanders. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.